review. Now we discuss the applications of dimensional analysis. In the textbooks and all, they give 3 applications, but we discuss the main, that are 2. First application, to check the correctness of an equation involving physical quantities. To check the correctness of an equation involving different physical quantities. Now, why an equation involving physical quantities alone? I'll explain it. Suppose we go for an equation like ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is an equation. But we are not knowing the values of a, b and c. We say this quadratic contains 3 constants and x is a variable. So what these things are, we don't know. In such equations, we are not able to apply our dimensional formula and all. So we must be knowing the quantity, then only you can give the expressions and whatever it is relating to dimensional formula. Okay? So, physical quantities is a must. Now, in physics, you studied many equations in the lower classes. Basically, the first equation, as far as you are concerned, is coming like V equal to U plus AT. This is an equation in physics, and we all know that there is the equation for final velocity of a body which is uniformly accelerating, starting with an initial velocity u after time t second. All these things you know. But when we go for applying this dimensional formula, dimensional analysis, and checking the correctness and all, you must understand the basic of it. See this equation. This is velocity. Okay, you call it as initial velocity. Sorry, final velocity. This is the final velocity. And this you call initial velocity. Now, plus acceleration into time is also a quantity called velocity. See this? So, whether it is initial or final or whatever it is, instantaneous and all, see, if I forget about the final condition and initial condition, all these things, what you are actually getting is velocity added to velocity equal to velocity. This is a very important thing to be kept in mind relating to equations in physics. Means like quantities are to be added or subtracted, and like quantities are equated. Okay? This criteria is called homogeneity. Homogeneity of equations in physics. Now this homogeneity condition is helping us to apply the dimensional analysis to check the correctness of the equation. involving physical quantities. So basic understood. What is meant by homogeneity understood? Like quantities are added or subtracted. Like quantities are equated. That means velocity is equated to velocity, velocity added to velocity, like that. If force is the quantity, it will be equated to force only. Okay. So now let us see how this equation can be checked using dimensional formula. Let us see that. Left hand side velocity. Velocity is meter per second. Unit is meter per second. So I can write this as kilogram raised to 0, meter raised to 1, second raised to -1. Okay. Therefore, dimensional formula will be m raised to 0, l raised to 1, t raised to -1. For this is final velocity and initial velocity again. M raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -1 plus what is coming here? Acceleration, meter per second square. Then it becomes M raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -2 for acceleration. Then time, T raised to 1. So by solving, you are getting M raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -1 on the left hand side will be equal to M raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -1 plus M raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -1. Because these two together it makes T raised to -1. So if you go for mathematical addition here, these two brackets are identical, so you take this 2 times. But 2, the number 2 is not having any dimensional formula. It's only a number. Therefore, we can have m raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -1 is equal to m raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to -1. So, velocity is equal to velocity. Understood? So, while checking, you will be coming across some numbers, adding these two, number 2 will be coming. That 2 is dimensionless. Therefore, you will be left with left hand side is equal to right hand side. Okay? Like this, you can practice this checking using any other equations that you know of. Alright?